What's up, everybody? Dark Knight 316, Robert Really Gaming, and this is the Tackles and Takedowns podcast. So, in the wrestling business, there has been major releases and some restructuring, all because of the TKO takeover. We're going to look at the list of wrestlers that have been released, and then rumors of some wrestlers that may have wanted to stay in the business but got a 50% pay cut, especially some prominent ones. And then also we'll look at the highlights of Raw and possibly Smackdown. And then we'll play the best game on the internet for wrestling is Wrestling 20 Questions. And like last week in Wrestling 20 Questions, Robert Really Gaming could not guess the person at all. And it could have been maybe the clues that I was given or he was asking.
Terrible clues.
That. But
terrible clues.
If you didn't watch it, you could go watch it on our channel. But the person was the Honky Tonk Man. So this time he's gonna do the wrestler that he picked, which last time he wanted to pick a jobber, but he picks it and then I'll try to guess it. But here we go with the first news of the wrestlers that have been released.
So I think what's crazy though is like Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. I don't remember her being in AEW, but Aleister Black came from AEW to go and want to wrestle back at WWE just to get released again. Like, it's sad to hear that. It's also sad though that Kairi Sane, because she was real prominent with. I mean, she's won a world champion. You know, she's won a tag team title.
Like, yeah, she might go back to New Japan and finish off her career in there.
I think things like that. Looking at the Wyatt Six, I think that's just sad because of what they did with. Because it's to honor Bray Wyatt, yep. And they did him a little dirty there. I thought Nikki Cross was fine for to be part of that faction. Mm-hmm. I really like Motor City Machine Guns. Wish they would have given more.
I think that they were just too old to be.
Yeah,
because they were in NXT.
NXT guys,
and they wrestled there, but I think that they were just way too old. They should have just stayed in like TNA or whatever, or just retire on there. I think that's what it is. But they're way more talented than WWE gives credit to. And then I didn't even know Apollo Crews
still wrestled.
Yeah, I didn't know he still was employed.
Yeah, either did I. But
and then some of these other people are not names that I'm familiar with, like Andre Chase. Don't know who that is. I know Zoe Starks. I mean, it says here she's a former women's champion, but she was in NXT. I kind of like remember what her face looks like, but I'm not quite sure. But then Alba Frey, don't know who that is. Tyra May Steele, don't know who that is, and that's probably a good reason why they released them. Serena Linton, don't know who that is. Trill London, don't know who that is. Tyreek Igui, don't know who that is.
These are probably a lot of developmental
NXT people.
NXT guys.
DuPont, don't know who that is. Santos Escobar, I know him. He's part of the LWO.
And he was a former United States champion.
Yeah, because he came back with the LWO with Rey Mysterio when it was Rey Mysterio fighting Dominic and all them.
See, here's the sad thing though, is you see all those in the next list of people are former women's champions, yet they, like, you could have had a development of womenens champions.
Well, most of these are from NXT.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you could have get rid of Charlotte Flair and do stuff like that.
But what's wrong with having NXT? I mean, they maybe put them to AAA then if you're having problems with these having like 4 shows. Then maybe get rid of one of the shows, or maybe get rid of, more of the people behind the scenes. Like, maybe that's the problem with it. Maybe not these wrestlers, because most of these ones are learning and trying to get with the crowd and stuff like that. So most of these,
JC Mateo, he was recently on there.
You got Luca Cristofino, Malik Blade.
Like, I never did this. Who's this Carly Bright? I never heard of her.
Francois, Carly Bray, Dante Chin, Francis Princelow, JC Mateo. Now, JC Mateo and Tongaloa was part of the MFT, so what are they going to do now with Solo Sikoa? Is he going to join back with the Bloodline?
They're probably going to make him join back the Bloodline.
It's going to be the Uce and Solo and Roman against.
The weird thing, though, is they got rid of Tongaloa.
Too.
They got rid of a family. What's Roman Reigns going to say?
But I mean, I think that's why they're trying to, because when we get to the one of the superstars on there, I think that's the reason why they got rid of it, so to try to put leverage. You can do it, and then it also sucks. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I mean, they were doing their heel run,
but they weren't technically released though. They quit, didn't they?
Well, yeah,
or they got out of their contract.
They got out of their 5-year contract because they wanted TKO wanted to restructure them. Mm-hmm. Oh man, excuse me, to take a 50% pay cut. They did not want to do it, and so they parted ways without burning bridges or anything like that.
Yeah,
but rumors are that they're trying to get Xavier Woods back because now WWE pretty much owns the Up Down Down brand, and that was known by Xavier Woods as being it. So they're thinking about trying to get Xavier Woods back, but not wrestling, but just doing content for the Up Down Down.
Yeah, why would you want to do that? And you're like, really? So you just want my popular YouTube channel versus me actually wrestling?
If you remember, back in the, I think it was like a couple of years ago, maybe it could have been 4 or 5 years ago, WWE would not let you make a business outside of WWE. So if you had any of your social media, they wanted to own all social media. That's why they fired Selena Vega before, is because she was prominent on like Twitch and other and Kick and all that stuff like that. They wanted to have access to it to put WWE brand on it. She said no. They released her, and then same with like other wrestlers that had their channels that they were making money because they weren't on the wrestling predominantly, so they're not really making money because you're not on the show. So they were mostly eating catering, and so they wanted to go make that money. And then Aleister Black was on AEW, and so she was on there, and then they brought her back, and then finally brought.
What I think is weird though is like you don't release somebody like The Miz, like my favorite wrestler, but he's not really doing anything. But you release somebody like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston who are actually having matches and things like that.
The Miz is the ambassador for WWE right now.
But why not? They could just get AJ Styles.
Right now he's in a feud with Dan Helsing. So him and that Kit whatever guy, they just showed it on Smackdown, which we could get to on there. But Xavier Woods had a big Up Down Down channel, and you can watch it on YouTube and stuff, where he'd bring wrestlers, they play tournaments and stuff like that. And when Tyler Breeze was not part of WWE anymore, he couldn't really have his other shows on Up Down Down that brought in Tyler Breeze or brought in Adam Cole or anything because they weren't part of WWE.
What did you do? Like Adam Cole, baby. Yeah. He doesn't. He's not even back.
Yeah, because he went Adam Cole, baby. But so he gave, because he wanted to still wrestle and play the games, so he gave his channel up to WWE. So WWE, I guess, owns the content that is viewed on there, so he can't.
But what's weird though is Xavier Woods was in a weird spot because like Kofi Kingston won a world title, Big E won a world title before he got injured, which I thought that Big E run, if he didn't get injured or anything to lose to Brock Lesnar, he would have been a great champion. I believe, because he earned it. He earned working that hard.
And he was a big dude.
That big ending, like he earned being able to, being the bodyguard of Dolph Ziggler to being a world champion. Like, in my opinion, he earned it. I think he would have been a great champion if he didn't get injured and get squashed by Brock Lesnar. But I think Xavier Woods was in a tough position because he really didn't have anything of like no championship runs outside of like tag team titles. Didn't really have any runs of anything that would have been something like worth why not do the Freebird rule and give him the world title during that whole time when Big E had it?
I don't think that they
Kofi
thought
had it.
Xavier Woods was world champion material, but Kofi Kingston, like, he was more popular in the group besides Big E, and so they were like, well, let's give him a chance, and then of course, like, he gets squashed by Brock Lesnar, but yeah, so these are the 20 to 25 guys that got released. There's probably going to start going on a firing spree. They did that like a couple of years ago before, and WWE was not bought out by TKO.
It's because TKO is going bankrupt.
They fired a lot of people. Some people say that that's what businesses do when they try to restructure contract. Like they do that in football, where the quarterback they restructure it for like that. So they're trying to say it's the same thing here, but I think it's what it is because TKO thinks it's more like UFC, where there's one guy. Then it's not like a collective of groups. So I don't think that they really fully understand what they're doing on here, because some of these wrestlers there got the opportunity to go to AAA, which is fine because AAA is just another show that they have, and so it's fine for here. But here's the results of Raw when he did
the table didn't even break
with the Tonga death grip on there, and then he signed the paper to put the OTC through the table. So then the show here that JD McDowell defeated Finn Balor.
See, like how the JD McDowell, he's not even like we saw him at WrestleMania. He's not that good of a wrestler, but you kept him.
Yeah. So Roxanne Perez hit him with the hammer, and that's how he lost. And then you saw Ethan Page and Rusev defeated Penta and Giovanni.
That could be a good match.
Which is crazy because they actually let Penta lose on there. And, then hardly ever will make Penta lose.
That could be a good tag team, though, if they made them both heels. Ethan Page and Rusev. That could be a good tag team.
That could be, but, Ethan Page shouldn't just be...
But remember, though, Ethan Page did have popular tag team, The North, in NXT, so...
Yeah, I know. He was popular in NXT with, what's-her-face, Chelsea Green, and they were, like, the valet and stuff, but Chelsea Green's in the hospital recovering from,
I think Sol Ruka should win the IC title from...
Yeah, but I think she still needs more training, so who to make it good for that? But
Becky Lynch wouldn't be the good one to train her to do it, but I think it would be a good kind of like you could drop the belt, see how popular she is with the mid title. If she's not that good, then you can just drop it off her and just have her kind of run solo. But I think she would be a good champion.
The draft should be coming up pretty soon. Pretty soon after Backlash or whatever like that, because we're doing the draft. Because right now they're doing some free agents.
But what happened with that? So like AJ Lee isn't doing anything anymore?
Not really. I think from what I heard from like rumors is she's pretty much done now. Like
she just came back
for like a little bit, see how it is, and then
lose that WrestleMania. And like Paige, where's Paige at?
Well, we'll get to Paige because Paige is up in it.
Joe Hendry
defeated Austin Theory by disqualification because Braun Breaker destroyed Seth Rollins again. So it said Austin Theory, Logan Paul attacked Hendry to the end of the bout in disqualification. Attacked by Theory and the Mavericks.
Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Street Profits to the ring. Braun Breaker then joined the fight to help the division. Drew Seth Rollins to the fray. This is just when it looks like Rollins had the upper hand. They hit the stomp on Breaker. Montez Ford suddenly charged across the ring and flipped into the brawl at ringside. And then it inadvertently allowed Breaker to spear Rollins. And then Obafemi defeated Otis in the Open Femi challenge is what they're calling it, which is the
Obafemi cool. Open challenge.
The problem that I have in this match is they're trying to make Obafemi the next Brock Lesnar, but he doesn't have the strength or the skills yet to be Brock Lesnar. Because if you see in this match, he couldn't do his normal powerbomb to Otis because Otis was too big for him to pick up. So he's trying to figure out how he's going to do it. So he ended up throwing Otis into the turnbuckle, lifted him up to the top of the rope, and then turned over, picked him up like that, and then did the sit-down powerbomb. Other than that, he would not have been able to pick up Otis. So if you're trying to build this dude as the next Brock Lesnar and make him big. He can't be like Ryback, where it's like barely can pick up Tensai and he's supposed to be able to pick up everybody and destroy him.
And have the next week come in and finally pick up Tensai after like a 10-second match.
Yeah. So you can't build him like that where he's supposed to be a big guy and then he screws up like Ryback, because that's going to ruin his.
The problem with Obafemi though is like after beating Brock Lesnar, one of the things I kept saying is like, who do you put him up against? Because you're going to get these guys like who are smaller guys that he could just destroy, guys that aren't like really
that's why
big time
they
like
had Otis do it, because they had that Tozawa already got defeated by him. So then he's like, well, I'm going to go challenge you now.
Or do you bring
Otis is like, yeah.
Do you bring like Braun Strowman back and then have him fight for a match? Like,
well, see, what I think what's going to start doing, and it's going to get boring quick, is Femi's going to just start beating everybody on there. And then, like, it's not going to be good enough for him to lose, because then people are not going to believe like the person that beats him.
Yeah,
they're not going to.
But the thing is the way that WWE is, all he has to do is do a strut. That's all people want, is that they don't care whether or not if he's going to win or lose.
Yeah, but they were trying to build him as the next Brock Lesnar, the next big thing. But I don't see. I think he needs way more wrestling. And then now Io Sky is going to be facing Asuka at Backlash.
This is going to be going to not be a good match,
because now Io doesn't have her partner of Rhea Ripley, because Rhea is now on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then this one, it would be good.
Look at that.
The original El Grande Americano and the Creed brothers defeated El Grande Americano and Los Americanos. At the AAA pay-per-view, it's supposed to be mask versus mask match. So the losing Americano is going to lose their mask.
I'm hoping they have it where Chad Gable loses his mask.
I think it's going to be him,
because they need to bring Chad Gable back and put him into a world champion. He's good enough to be a world champion. I think they're throwing this. I don't know if it's his choice or what, but they're throwing this gimmick at him that he should be like in world championship contender. But
I mean, they should make him win the AAA title and be have that, because he's supposed to be a luchador.
But I know they're trying to make him like a Kurt Angle for the whole American thing like that. Yeah. But like they're just burying him right now.
But the El Grande Americano, not the original El Grande Americano, is he knows how to speak French and Spanish and all that. And he was doing an interview where he's like, well, let me speak English to you because that's the only language you know. You don't know Spanish. And then he gave it in English form, which is funny because, Chad Gabriel is original El Gran Americano, and he doesn't know.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know
that. Yeah,
it may be like the whole Elias thing and Ezekiel, like, they were two separate people. They weren't the same person. But, so this match would be interesting when they face it here. It says here, hit the headbutt splash on Bravo to win, en route to a mask versus mask match at AAA Noche de los Grandes. And then, the final one here, they showed that Jacob Fatu put did the Tonga death grip on Roman Reigns, drove him through the table. And so it made, the OTC weak.
OTC.
Made Jacob Fatu look good.
OTC.
So now we'll look at SmackDown because Ricky Saints, which is the Ricky Starks or whatever, is going to be facing Cody Rhodes. So, look, he beat up on Solo. So right now they're on both shows right now until they do the draft probably. So here's the big one. Ricky Saints debuts and confronts Cody Rhodes for the title.
Yeah, he ain't winning the title.
I heard that if Roman doesn't come back, then they're gonna have Gunther face him instead of Roman facing Cody. But they got JC Jane defeated Charlotte Flair, which I don't know who this JC Jane is.
She used to be popular down in NXT.
I know this shit's from NXT, but I don't know who she is.
But that's a good thing though that that didn't look like Charlotte Flair. That looked like Sol Ruca a little bit.
But like Charlotte Flair does not look like Charlotte Flair anymore. Like
but it's good though to see that they're bringing up people. So. And like Fatal Influence.
Rhea Ripley, even the odds against Fatal Influence, which is a faction up on there. And then, so then here they had WWE Tag Champion Damian Priest and R-Truth defeated Fraxium, which is another NXT group that's coming up. So they're trying to build up the
because Nathan Frazier and Axiom,
Uh-huh.
which you get the name Fraxium. But I think it's interesting though, like to me too, like Damian Priest. What are you doing? Like you release these other guys, but you have Damian Priest who's like no longer big time. R-Truth, he's a guy who's like no longer big time either.
He does the Razor's Edge,
So
Damian Priest. And then here, Solo Sikoa threatened war with Roman Reigns. The Usos and Jacob fought too. But see, it says Solo Sikoa and Tala Tonga arrived on the scene because the other two got released, which is stupid.
But do you think this is going to be played out though? Like with Solo Sikoa again attacking the Bloodline and again doing all this stuff with the Bloodline?
Well, I mean, now it's uneven.
So
because the MFT used to be, the two people and then so four people, and it would have been able to face.
Well, Jacob Fatu will probably go with Solo, but why not have Solo win the world title from Roman Reigns and then see how well he could do it with the title?
Yeah, and then
I don't think he would.
Ricky Saints on here, and then Gunther came in and choked out Cody Rhodes.
So they're going to face that backlash?
I don't know if they'll do it that quickly on there, but that's what they choked out on there. And then the Miz and Kit Williams destroyed Danhausen.
Kit Williams.
Because what it was is Danhausen's like, oh, do you want to join me, the Miz? So we could be Miz Housing. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. And they shake the hand, and that Kit guy was like, what? We're supposed to be partners on there. And then the Miz is like raising his hand or whatever, and then turns around and does his Miz move to Danhausen, and then they're like laughing like, ha.
They
I mean, I would show it, but then my channel would get hit because
why don't they have
WWE's a butthead. So.
Why don't they have Royce Keys face Obafemi Open Challenge?
No, he defeated Angel.
So.
Which is part of was part of the LWO with Ray.
See, they could have Royce Keys open match against Obafemi.
Could.
That would be an interesting.
But that would show who's actually has skills and who doesn't.
Sami Zayn beat the Gingerbread Man.
Berto tried to help his cousin, but Keys hit the ultimate spine buster. And then Sami Zayn beat up on the Gingerbread Man, which is stupid. And then the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Paige and Brie Bella, defeated Nia Jax and Lash Legends again. Which was probably more Paige doing all the work.
Well, right there, Brie Bella's wrestling. My whole thing, though, is, what the heck are they even back?
Because it's like what most of the wrestlers are, is their kids never got to see them at their peak, so they want to come back to show off the kids.
That's why in the Hall of Fame. Same with like Rey Mysterio. You're in the Hall of Fame. Why did you even come back?
Well, Rey Mysterio doesn't need his kids to see him because his kids are already in it. So
I think it's one of those where it's like, you just can't get out of.
Yeah, it's like the Undertaker.
You just can't.
He's retired, but he can't just like.
You just can't leave.
He just can't do something at home, like a hobby or whatever. It's like it's in his blood, kind of like Hulk Hogan. Like it's in it. He has to always do this, or he doesn't know what to do.
Jacob Fatu laid waste to the Usos.
But it says here, Paige Turner or a Bella Buster could fell the powerful challengers, but timely counter by Paige allowed Brie to roll up Jax to secure the victory. And then Jacob Fatu laid waste to the Usos.
He probably won't win it. I don't see him winning it. Like, are they actually going to give it to...
I don't know. They may do it there because
I mean, he's pretty popular, but I don't know.
On the rumors of with the layoffs and the 50% off, or 50% off, 50% pay cut, one of the wrestlers they said was Roman Reigns. They said that TKO does not like Roman Reigns having a part-time contract. And Roman Reigns signed that for like the 5-year deal and had the, for him 5 years being a part-time, and he can win the championship and do all that, but he can pick the days that, he wants to come. And TKO doesn't like that structure on it, so they want him to take his pay cut from what he has and become a full-time one, but with the same pay, and just not have the half cut. And he said no. And so some people are saying that's why his cousins got fired is because they're trying to say, well, look, we fired your cousins here because you don't want to go take this pay cut. So they're trying to like blackmail him to take the deal so that then they can, you know, they can do it. So
take the deal.
If Roman decides not to and they want to get rid of Roman, I can see them giving it then to Jacob.
But
I think it's too soon though.
If you got rid of Roman Reigns, that would be the biggest mistake WWE would make.
Yep, but
because there's
Triple H and them don't make the decision. It's TKO.
There's nobody on the roster who would be as big like right now.
That's what I'm saying. So
you
Roman
made him win WrestleMania to give it like you'll just get back to CM Punk.
Yeah, like Roman will be able to go to AEW and be big time. He can go to TNA, be big time. Wherever he will go,
but he wouldn't be called Roman Reigns. Though,
no,
so
he'd be probably called what his real name is. But he could be.
He can be like fuck.
You know, he could be doing all that and doing a solo on another wrestler that they said, but the rumor was that somebody who got a big push. So Roman Reigns is the only one that must put that. Some people say that it's L.A. Knight. Yeah,
he got a big push.
But
though.
I'm like, he didn't have a big push. But if he restructured his contract for 50% off, like that's pretty dumb.
But here's the thing. Like I would say, okay, so then do you give me 50% more in merchandise sales? Like how would that work? Because I would be like, we agreed to the contract. I'm not giving up.
That's why they said that a lot of these wrestlers that did not agree to the 50% off got released.
But then you ended up having to pay their whole contract, which is like, even if you think about NFL, if they're like restructuring, I'm not ready. We agreed to this contract. Yep. You have to figure out where you're going to get the money at, because I shouldn't take a pay cut because you couldn't manage the budget and you gave me the money for my performance. But yet now you want me to restructure it in a way so you can free up more money. That, like, do you give me a guarantee right now? Like,
yeah, and that's the problem, and then that's why people said that like TKO is only used to dealing with like the UFC, where UFC is like one talent against one talent, and then they each have, you know, that they can restructure like that and be like, oh, you're worth this amount. But now that they have like a whole, you know, thousands of people, they don't know how to handle it.
It makes you wonder. Maybe Vince McMahon was good for,
but though also people were saying Vince McMahon sold the company to TKO. But also what people don't understand is he was forced to sell the company. He didn't want to sell it. He wanted to keep it in the family. He wanted to keep it, but they were forced with it.
So why not buy it back?
Because of all the allegations that were against him and all that money that was taken from there.
That ended up being false.
Yeah, they told him he needed to sell the company so that it would look better for him and make WWE look more viable. So that's the only reason why he sold it. He didn't really want to. He was forced to sell it.
Why not buy it back and make it even better? Because you think the brand that
I think he's probably going to wait till it's cheap and going to actually be sold, and then probably
because he has the money to buy it back. But you think like the brand that Vince McMahon put on versus what you're seeing now. You got to give Vince McMahon credit that it actually was a much more interesting brand than what we're starting to see right now.
And like right now, I think Vince is not interested in buying it until it gets real cheap, because he's probably laughing right now, going like, "Look what happened."
Well, if he can, not crash his car, he would be.
But he's probably laughing, going like, "Look what happened when they sold the company. I told you I didn't want to sell the company." Because he was trying to finagle to be 51% of the shareholder, so he would own it, so he wouldn't have to go and sell it all, but they all forced him. So that Khan guy is basically the one that's getting rich out of all this stuff here for selling, getting rid of all these wrestlers. But they claim they can't claim it's only mid-tier, but
let's get to the greatest game.
Yeah, let me key up the promo. Here we go. Wrestling 20 Questions, guys. The best game in wrestling podcasts and everything. All right. So if you didn't know about this segment, it's Wrestling 20 Questions, just like the game 20 Questions. I have to ask 20 yes or no questions. He's going to tell me yes or no on the questions. I have 20 to try to guess.
I got to start blocking some of this mirror stuff.
By the end of the 20 questions, I have to guess who the superstar is that he picked. If I don't guess it, I lose. If I guess it right, he loses.
All right, question numero uno.
So here, I'll mark it down unless you want to take.
No, you can do it.
Okay. So let me key this up first. So then we can get the numbering going. So we know where we're on. Okay, so question number 1. Is this person a 90s wrestler?
Yes.
Okay, so 90s wrestler. Okay, question number 2. Did this person win a world title?
World title meaning like WWE, WCW. No.
So WWE title or the World Heavyweight Champion?
No.
No, okay. Did this person win an ECW title?
No.
Okay. Is this 90s wrestler currently wrestling today?
No.
Is this wrestler part of the layoffs?
Part of the
ones that just the 20 to 25 that just
if they weren't wrestling today, they wouldn't be part of the layoffs as well, so no.
Well, they would have been part of that because they weren't wrestling today because they got fired yesterday. But is this person part of a tag team?
No.
Okay. That's a solo.
That's question number 5 you did, right?
That
You're
was
on
question. I'm on 6 now. Is this person the highest championship that they won? Either the United States or the IC belt?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the IC belt?
Yes.
Okay, so this guy's a mid-tier. Okay, was this guy part of the Attitude Era?
Yes.
Was this guy part of a faction?
No.
Okay. So, and he's not wrestling today. So it's a 90s wrestler, part of the Attitude Era. Is this person had a gimmick? So, like I'm saying, gimmick is kind of like a like how they had back in the day, where it's like a repo man, whatever like that. They had a little bit of these people in the 90s.
His character was kinda of a gimmick early on in his career.
Okay. That was question 9.
You remember you do have your lifelines.
Yeah. I'm going to use one lifeline.
Okay. He won the television title in WCW.
Oh, so he's a WCW guy.
When he wrestled in WCW,
yeah,
he won the television title.
Okay,
so he won that mid-tier, and then he won the IC. So
yeah, so it wasn't who I thought it was.
Which would be hard too, because you don't know too many television champions.
I know.
So
I know.
The television champ, was that the IC title in WCW?
Basically, yeah. It was like the United States and IC belt. Okay, so
yeah, because they're the United States. I would think it's like a 3rd tier, but
so this guy was a WCW dude. Now I'm trying to think, because so did this guy go on to WWF after they bought WCW?
No.
So he stayed a WCW guy. Okay.
He wrestled when they bought it in the 2002. He was not part of the WCW roster.
Yeah. So he. Oh, okay. So he was already gone before then.
Mm-hmm.
So then they brought him back. Okay. So it can't be that guy. Okay. Let's see. He didn't win a world title. He's won the TV title. Okay. Does he have a finisher move that's a submission?
His finisher move was not.
Was not a submission?
Mm-mm.
So now we're on question 11. Huh. No, because he won the world title. When this guy was in WCW, did he join the NWO?
No, he was out of WCW around that time.
Oh, okay. And he wasn't on WWE then either. I'll use my second hint.
Okay, this guy had a valet. In case people don't know who valet is, it would be like a manager who at the time like really didn't wrestle, but they kind of like the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart and things like that. But they may have wrestled a little bit, but it was kind of valet, somebody to represent, and kind of like Lana with a Rusev and things like that. So,
okay. Did his valet end up wrestling in the WWF?
Yes.
Okay, I think I know who this person is then. I'm going to try to see.
What number are you on?
I'm on 13.
13?
Is this person, when he came to the WWF, he had a boxing type attire? So he had like boxing shorts and whatnot.
Let me check. Not in the WWF.
I thought it was. So who I thought it was, then that's not who it is. Then. Because they're part of the Attitude Era, but I thought it was... So, Alright, so I'm on 13 still. Well, no, that would be 14 because I just asked that one question. So we're on 14. Did this wrestler get released in WWF after the Attitude Era? So he no longer continued on.
I'm not sure if he released or quit, but he didn't wrestle after that.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's released or quit, one of those two. But after the Attitude Era, he did not wrestle for the WWE.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on 15. Is this person in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. I'm still leaning towards this guy, even though he said he didn't have really boxing attire coming out, which I think he did.
Not in the WWF.
Yeah, I know, that's what you were saying, but could have sworn he had it in the other one. Let's see. I want 15. Did this person is this person signed to a Legends contract?
No.
Okay, this is we're on 16 now.
You got one more save.
I'm gonna use it towards the end. Is this person was this person married to his valet?
Yes.
Okay, I still think I think I know who it is. Okay, so I'm gonna ask this question now. Is this person no longer married to the valet?
Yes.
Okay. That's 17. So we're on 18 now. Okay. So I'm going to ask this question now. Is this valet married to a wrestler that recently retired?
Yes.
Okay. I know exactly who this is now.
Do you want to, if you know exactly who it is, do you want to use your last lifeline?
I'm going to use my last lifeline to give me a hint on it.
Later on in his life, he became a Christian.
Okay, I'm gonna use the 19 to try to guess on it. You may not know.
If you guess on 19, that's it. You don't get to your 20.
No, I get the 20 question where then I have to guess.
No, but if you guess on 19, it's done.
No, I'm not gonna guess. But I'm gonna ask this question: did he become a motivational speaker?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly who this is. All right, so We're on question 20. I'm going to go out and do it on a limb. If I'm wrong, then this guy has a similar career as it. But this is when he was in WCW, he was known as Johnny B. Bad. And WWF, he was known as Mark Marrow.
No.
It's not Mark Marrow?
No, it is.
I was going to say.
Well, the reason why for boxing attire, when I looked it up, it said that Johnny B. Bad was more boxing attire. When he was WWE, he was Wild Man Mark Marrow, so he toned down a lot of boxing, more wild. But remember, his gimmick as Johnny B. Bad was supposed to be...
Because he had a baseball bat and everything like that.
But he was supposed to be like that singer.
Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to be like Freddie Mercury and things like... I
didn't know that.
I changed up from the one I originally wanted, but I thought this one would be an interesting one. But I still don't know how you would have got that from all those questions without looking at my notes.
With whatchamacallit, when he came in as Mark Marrow, he had the boxing shorts on and he came in with the boxing.
But I think they didn't have him as like a boxing. Yeah, he toned down a lot of that boxing.
He was more like a fighter, is basically what they had him as. But that was a good one there because I thought he was.
Well, after you looked at my notes, you were able to figure it out.
I didn't know he won the television title.
Either did I when I looked him up.
So when I was thinking about him there, I was like, yeah, he went to WWF. But
what swung besides the fact that he married his valet? When I told you he had a valet, then it kind of...
When you told me he had a valet, I was trying to think of everybody in WCW that had a valet that went to WWF but wasn't there around the time of the signing. And I also had to think of who didn't win champion because I was leaning towards Jericho. But then I was like, no, Jericho won the world title. Mm-hmm. He said that he never won the world title. Then I was leaning towards like Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero won the world title. Then I was thinking of maybe Dean Malenko. But when you said his finisher move was not a
you remember what his finisher move was?
Wasn't it the TKO?
The right? TKO, yeah. See, how do you remember? I don't remember his finisher being the TKO.
When you said it wasn't
somehow you remember.
When you said it wasn't a submission, then I said, okay, it couldn't be Dean Malenko.
I had to look him up too.
I couldn't think if Perry Saturn had a signature like a finisher move as a.
The Rings of Saturn was his submission.
So
move.
That was submission. Okay,
but
see,
I was sitting there when I was looking him up because I was going to give you Reno Riggins, but when I was looking him up, I was like, how. Like, oh yeah, this will be a fun one. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I don't remember the TKO things. How did you even know he had the TKO?
Because they made him like a fighter type thing. So,
but still, like you wouldn't think that he'd put him up there and do like a little TKO.
And then when you were saying of he had a valet, so then I was like, okay, well, I know Mark Marrow in WWF had Sable, but I was like WCW, I don't think he had a valet then. And then I was saying then when I was going for more of thinking it was Mark Marrow, that's why I was saying, oh, did she end up wrestling? Because Sable became a singles wrestler. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, so it leans still towards Mark Marrow, even though I was like, maybe it's not him because of other clues that I was asking for. And then when they were saying about, oh, is he no longer married to her? Then I was like, okay, well, he's not married to Sable anymore. So then when they said it's a current wrestler that retired recently, which Brock Lesnar retired, then I was like, okay, it has to be Mark Marrow then. And then when they did the final clue,
it is pretty crazy though to see that Sable's been married to Brock Lesnar this long, considering the fact that relationships that Sable's been in and like her life and things like that. It's been pretty crazy. I mean that's good for them.
And it's also crazy that Brock Lesnar had all these accusations against him, and it's all been clear that it was all pretty much false, and that lady made it all up. That you see that the hit piece against him never fruition. They were trying to ruin his marriage and everything like that, and it never stood on there. And same with like Vince McMahon. They're saying that lady, that Janelle chick or whatever, lied. And the stuff really never happened. So maybe Vince McMahon can come back on there because what we forgot to say at the beginning is like we finished the Hulk Hogan documentary on there, and it would have been more episodes, but he died. And one of those allegations on there was, well, what Hogan did in his personal life. Then they were like, oh well, we got to erase them all from WWF,
Mm-hmm.
like he never existed and stuff like that. And I'm like, how could you do it to a guy and erase it all from his life there when your literal boss did it on public TV and said what he said up on there, and nothing happened to him.
But you know what? I think it's also dumb too, because it's like, well, did Hulk Hogan apologize? He said it was during a time, you know, when like he was at the lowest, it was low. It was a personal recording that like wasn't real. So it's like, to me, it's like, yeah, he said that, and then you're going to get up in arms about everything and be like, I can never forgive this guy. I'm like, okay, well, if we looked at your life, I'm sure you've said something.
Yep.
Maybe not as bad, but you've said something that somebody could still use that and say, well, what about, you know, like, that's where I think is the dumb part, because they're like, we're going to release Hulk Hogan, erase him from everything because he said this one word.
Yeah.
And nobody liked it during a time when he was probably drunk or something and was recording on a, you know, a personal thing that was just between like whoever recorded, basically probably to blackmail him.
Yep.
But still, it's like, okay, so you apologize. You can't be like, hey, you know what, dude, I totally understand. You know, you apologize. You're forgiven. No, it's like, hold grudge. Hulk Hogan's this, Hulk Hogan's that.
And that's how those people are, even,
and it's like,
even today. It's like, you did it in the past, but all they fixate is what you did up in the past.
But you think, though, like, you know, going back to what we said, though, you may have, everybody's done something, you know, that whether or not it's good, bad, whatever. But if we fixated on that thing for you that you did in your past, for that person who's accusing the other person, like, well, you will be in that exact same thing of like, oh man, why would they do something like that to me? Things like that. Like, it's hypocritical to say, oh, we should cancel this person. I'm sure Triple H did something that was just as bad too.
I mean, he did. I mean, during the whole time up there, we were picking the women out in the audience and going like
things
this,
like this.
You know, show it all there, and how he screwed over China.
He's a womanizer. Why not get rid of him? Like,
exactly.
Like things like that. But because he's, you know,
and even with Shawn Michaels,
CFO
like Shawn Michaels
or whatever,
did a whole bunch of crap there that you know, that if you were to look at his past and judge him based off his past, that he'd be disqualified for it too. He should get then everything.
But they don't look at it like that. But they look at it like Hulk Hogan.
Same with like Chris Benoit. Yeah, it's horrible for what he did on there, but do you want to erase the histories on it? Because I mean, Kurt Angle even said it. Like, Kurt Angle said some of his greatest matches was with Chris Benoit, but they wiped it all off of the network and stuff like that, so you can't even do it. So it's like Chris Benoit never existed on there. And same with like Owen Hart. Like, you want to erase everything of Owen?
No.
Like, no.
And
this stuff should be in there because it was great matches.
And I think it's a good teachable moment too, because I think for two things. One, with like Chris Benoit, you can show that what CTE led to, and hope and push for awareness too. And also too, you can start, like, I think you put him in the Hall of Fame, but like you can also have that mention of like, hey, not everybody is perfect. This is what happens because he had CTE, which, you know, it's not 100% confirmed, but those are the symptoms. But it's saying like you can show and say, look, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, you know, some people do things that are like really super bad. But his career as a wrestler was good, and this is why he should be in there.
Same with like Jimmy Fly Snuka. Like, they put him in the Hall of Fame, then the allegations came out that he murdered somebody, so then they took him out of the Hall of Fame. Well, like, he murdered somebody. You could put him, maybe keep him in the Hall of Fame, but put an asterisk by it.
Yeah.
You know, and say the asterisk is there is because, you know, his actions that he did before we put him in the Hall of Fame, like, you know.
And I always go back with those things, too, because I even think about it with baseball, with, like, Barry Bonds and Pete Rose and stuff like that. Like, so these guys made you money at that time, and now you're going to erase them, or are you going to give them back that money that they made you? No, you're not going to, because it's, it was at that time, your life didn't. So then, you know what? He made all his popularity, his money, he made money for you. You should then, you know, honor that, you know, I think that's a perfect thing to say. Like, like, we honor him as a wrestler, as a person. He made some mistakes, and we don't necessarily, you know, accept that.
The wrestlers in the Hall of Fame.
The wrestlers in the Hall of Fame. The person
is a different
we could
story,
care less about. Like, something like that.
Kind of like how Hogan said. He said, you know, Hogan the wrestler has all these accomplishments, but Terry Bollea, like, isn't a good person. You know, like, Bollea had to go and fight his demons and stuff.
And
like
that's
that
where I think they need to start separating things like that to put in some of these wrestlers who had great careers, but their personal life. And why is their personal life like that? A lot of it is because of wrestling. So it's like maybe you need to be able to say you got to separate the wrestler from the person. Be able to say this person as a wrestler was great.
Yes, this is their career accolades, but like they're not trying to put them in as a role model.
No,
they're just trying to say that this is the contribution you did to the company. We appreciate all the contribution on it, but your personal life sucks.
Yep.
Like that. Like that's okay up on there, but like when they hold all these grudges and do all that stuff, like look at Sid Vicious. Like they held a grudge for Sid Vicious for all this time, and then now they put him in the Hall of Fame, and he's just like a footnote basically. Like they had no merch for him. They didn't have anything, and then they give it to Rodman. They get a bunch of merch on Rodman, and like Rodman is a bad person, in his personal life and stuff like that. But they're glorifying him like he's part of the NWO and like he's a good person. But Sid Vicious, who was the staple of the big guys back in the 80s and 90s, and made people hate him, love him, indifferent up on there. Like he should have been in the Hall of Fame way longer there, because I would have rather heard stories from him than to hear stories from
well, he would have told you that you may be half the man, but he has half the brain. So
it's like I feel that WWE needs to do more of put the wrestler in over the thing.
They need to put it over the personal life, because you have a lot of wrestlers who could tell great stories of things, of accomplishments, things that they did for the company that. You even think, like, I think about, even as you're talking about Chris Benoit, during a time when it was like, you're promoting John Cena, you're promoting Edge, like, you had these guys who, I believe it was Eddie Guerrero won the one night, and then Chris Benoit won the other, but you got these guys who were, like, considered mid-card, that actually went and became popular and won titles that wasn't a John Cena. So it was like, you had an era of a good, like, 10 years that was kind of like, wasn't good wrestling, but these guys were good wrestlers and good gimmick guys and things like that, who could actually do a lot of good things outside of just talking on the mic 5 moves and then and you're like, good to go.
Chris Benoit, like, he did wrestle a lot of big name wrestlers and had good matches with them.
Same
with like Eddie Guerrero
and NWO.
Same with the Eddie Guerrero and all that. And it's like, he had a problem with CTE, and then he did that tragedy there, and then they didn't want to do the 10-ring salute, but then they ended up doing it there, and then they find out what happened.
And you think Eddie Guerrero had a lot of drug abuse, but you put him in the Hall of Fame, you could have said, oh, well, take him out because he's a drug user. But a lot of wrestlers have drug abuse and things like that. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers do a lot of these things where, so.
Yeah, but that's all that we have for this week for Tackles and Takedowns. That was a good game of the Wrestling 20 Questions.
I think you saw my notes.
If you like more of those, like and subscribe so we could do more of these channels, because I think that this is a fun game for this iteration of 20 Questions. Backlash is I think this Saturday on there. We're not picking who's going to win and do all that stuff, because it's just a minor pay-per-view. We'll try to do the one in the next time, because it was like barely even WrestleMania, and they barely even had time to do these matches. So, and then plus now with the firing on the landscape has changed.
Yep.
So we'll do it on the next time on it. But like always, I'm Dark Knight 316. This is Robert Really Gaming, and we'll see you on the next episode.
God bless you guys. Take it easy.
Hold up.
The wall man, Mark.